a lot of times your friends and family are not willing to take a risk
Yep.
on you, and for whatever reasons, they just even now it's like I don't necessarily expect all my friends or family members to use me, and I'm okay with that. Um, and sometimes I almost kind of prefer it that way, to kind of just keep it separate.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Justin Rodriguez, your favorite lender here in Neighborhood Loans, and we are back with another episode of Cafecito Talks. And today we got a very, very special guest. It's just funny. Life goes full circle. I was talking about him. I wanted to meet this guest in person at an event. Fortunately, I wasn't able to make it to, but now we're here, back here with another episode with Rafael Murillo. Thank you so much for taking the time to come out, man. Appreciate it. But we're very much so looking forward to introducing this guest. This guest has honestly been taking over a portion of the luxury real estate market that honestly I think everybody dreams about. Much more, especially right now when we're looking at selling Sunset. You know, Cernhant just came out with his own show, and there's so many different shows that are on Netflix and all these streaming places that give a different side of real estate. And Chicago doesn't have one, so there you go, brother. You can take over that. But so it's kind of different. I think everyone dreams about the luxury real estate, and I think you kind of embody that for Chicago right now. So dive a little bit deeper into your real estate team, your journey. How did you become the person that you're in right now?
hmm I mean, I'm more or less a one man show. I have a very small uh, team, so I have a total of three part time uh, agents. For they have their personal reasons
For sure.
why real estate is just a part time gig for them. So yeah, in so many ways, I mean, I'm a one man show. I mean, I run my entire business from start to finish. I do all the showings, I do all the marketing. Uh, you know, I do all the admin work as well. Kind of looking to hopefully add a virtual assistant. Now that my business has consistently been around the 20 to 30 million
Nice.
mark for the last 2 to 3 years. In some ways, my business I've been able to manage my business. Because of my like average dollar, uh, price point. It's probably just under like maybe like 900,000, just like under the 1 million mark. So I mean, I've been very strategic, kind of with the way I run my business. I've had uh, goals from the very beginning, and early on. I mean, I built my book of business just doing rentals downtown. So I joined a real estate team that specialized in luxury. So early on, like I kind of like had my focus of like where I wanted my business to be in a couple of years from when I started, and I was kind of just like I mentioned again, just very strategic. So I joined one of the top luxury brokers in Chicago. He was one of the top selling agents at Trump Tower. So almost every deal in that building, whether it was on the sell or the buy side, my mentor at the time, he was touching almost every deal uh, at Trump Tower, and he also had very like humble beginnings as well, and that's kind of what also kind of inspire me. A lot of people might not know this about him, but he actually just used to work at the Trump Tower as a concierge, and I think it was when the market kind of just somewhat kind of hit rock bottom around that time, and I think he ended up getting, I think he got laid off and that's kind of how he got into real estate. And I mean, I remember him just sharing stories with me about how he used to cold call everyone in the building, and he just used to kind of make notes on every owner, and little by little he was just starting to kind of connect the dots, and started putting deals together in the building. So it's that's kind of how I what kind of set me up for success was in some ways, like seeing how he went from zero to 100, and how it was not like something that happened overnight. He's not the type of agent that is maybe blessed to come from an affluent uh, family, and went to one of the top schools, and somehow is able to kind of break into the luxury market a lot easier than other people. I mean, I grew up in the Cicero Berwyn area, from first generation uh, immigrant family. So I had to work 100 times harder
Yeah.
than most luxury agents, just to kind of even get my foot in the door. Um, but yeah, I mean, again, kind of just going back to the beginning. Uh, I think it was important for me to have a mentor, and I had a few mentors uh, early on. They kind of helped me shape my business, and just kind of provide just it was nice to have someone to just kind of lean on, and ask for their professional advice. And when I got into real estate, I think the majority of my friends were kind of just renting. So that's kind of I kind of lean into that, and I started just doing rentals downtown. Most agents at my office at the time, they didn't want to bother with rentals. So they would just kind of pass these rental leads to the newer agents, and I was in the office every day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I was hungry, so I was taking every rental lead that came my way. I was, just kind of paying attention to my surroundings, and just kind of, from being in the office on a day to day basis. I started just developing professional relationships with my colleagues, and they saw how hard I was working. So anytime, like there was you know an opportunity, with a renter or a landlord client, or maybe even like a buyer, that they were just like, 250, 300,000, like,
Yeah.
I just, you know I don't have the time for that. So I was
An
able to
opportunity,
to
they'll
get
pick it
those
up.
opportunities. And with every opportunity, uh it's the way I look at it is, it's just it's a way to create more future opportunities
Of course.
for yourself. And it's I've kind of always treated all of my clients like gold, regardless of the price point, property type, or if it was just a rental. But I also had my spreadsheet too, so all of my rental clients, I build and maintain those client relationships, knowing that in the future they're
You'll
either
touch
going to
again.
rent again, or they're going to buy. So I was kind of, the way I look at it is, with the rental, it's like you kind of you plant a seed, and then over time
Become a tree.
you have to water it, and nurture it, and then eventually it grows, and it starts either giving you more leads. Either they have friends that are looking to rent, or buy, or sell. So that's kind of really the way I kind of built my business early on, was just kind of putting in the work. I think most people think that uh, this is an easy business, and that you're gonna, like just have like overnight success. But I think, maybe like the first 2 to 3 years, I mean, I was just working hard, and trying to learn as much as possible from my mentors, or just other colleagues, or reading books. And I mean, nowadays, I mean, the information's everywhere. That's just the kind of world that we live in, that we're, if you want information, you can get information
Instantly.
now. You can just go on YouTube. And so I was looking at just kind of what other agents in other markets were doing, and how they were branding themselves. And my previous careers, before actually getting into real estate, I come from a hospitality background, where I was doing a lot of like social media marketing, and and kind of being like a brand ambassador for a lot of hospitality groups, hotels, restaurants, as well as nightclubs. So I kind of understood how to build a a brand online. And early on, I was kind of really big into the social media. So at that time, like maybe like 2016, that's kind of when I got in the business, around 2016, 2017. A lot of the agents weren't really utilizing
Yeah.
social media. Um, I feel like it's something that has really kind of just picked up maybe in the last 2 to 3 years. But early on, there was almost no one um, that was really utilizing social media. So I kind of saw that as an opportunity, and just kind of started working on building a a luxury brand. Even though I wasn't a luxury agent yet, um, I had my, that was my
Right. That's what you
goal
want
at,
to
at, at,
manifest.
at the time, was, you know eventually I want to, like, it's almost like, the school of hard knocks. It's like, like rentals to me was like maybe like a
Yeah.
college course. And
Yeah.
eventually I wanted to graduate it from rentals, and start working with buyers and sellers. And a lot of it just kind of just is the way, just, life kind of works. It's, you kind of
Level up.
level up
That's it.
little by little. And I remember, okay, started working with buyers and sellers in the three to 400 price range. Eventually 500,000, and eventually I got like my first like $1 million deal. And it's all just kind of brick by brick by brick. And and again, it's just kind of just being very patient with the process. And and that's why I was kind of just working on my brand early on, because I mean, I had all the time in the world. I wasn't really making that much money. So I had the time to kind of like invest on my brand, and be a little bit more strategic. And pretty much every deal that I had, it was always something, that I was posting on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. And little by little, I started picking up traction. Because early on, I mean, you know, they they always advise you to, like, oh, your first clients are gonna be your friends and family. A lot of times, your friends and family are not willing to take a risk on
Yeah.
on you. And for whatever reasons, they just even now, it's like I don't necessarily expect all my friends or family members to use me. And I'm okay with that. Um, and sometimes I almost kind of prefer it that way, to kind of just keep it separate.
What
Um,
makes you feel like it?
but over time, being consistent with what I was doing on social media,
Yeah.
some of these friends and family members started reaching
Right.
reaching out, even if it was just to ask questions. And there's even situations where, hey, I'm working with another agent, or hey, this is what's going on, and they're reaching out, just asking questions. And I think one thing that stands out is that I was willing to give them time, even without having any commitment to me as their agent. And again, it kind of leads to having that mentality. Kind of leads to my first $1 million listing. This client friend of mine. He was he reached out to me. He was asking me some questions, and I started kind of just providing advice. And he's like, "Oh, you should do this, or you should reach out to, Crane's Chicago business. Like, you have a very like unique, cool property that I think that that they would be interested in writing a story. Because he was working with his wife's mom. The mom, she's an agent in the suburbs. Um, didn't really understand the downtown uh, luxury market, and not that I did.
Right.
Not that I did. But I think uh, I did such a good job pretending on
Fake it till you
social
make it.
media that,
Yeah.
that I knew what I was doing. I mean, I understood how to market. That's one thing about me, is that before being a salesperson, I think I'm actually a marketer.
Yeah.
So I always kind of knew how to think outside the box, and I think that's why the brand that I was building on social media, like not realizing it, but just very being consistent on the stuff that I was doing on social media, attracted this friend, this client, to start asking questions like, hey man, I'm sorry, like I have the property listed with my wife's mom. I don't think she knows what she's doing, but blah blah blah. Like we're not
Yeah.
really getting much activity, and was always willing to just hear him vent, I guess.
Right.
And also just kind of provide tips. Like, oh, maybe have her reach out to Cranes, or maybe you should do a really cool property video. And at that time, like no one was really doing
Yeah.
video. Um, there's a couple agents, but yeah, not like you see
Nobody,
it
right.
today. Now, like everyone
Flooded, bro.
and their mom
Yeah.
are doing video. But yeah, at the time, I was giving him all these tips, like, hey, like, make sure it's being posted on social media. You should create some cool video content. Then eventually, a couple months go by, and like, just I was not looking for anything in return. Even like when I was, you know, just chat. The way I looked at it, I was just chatting with a friend, and just kind of like shooting the shit with him. Um, but a couple months later, he actually ends up reaching out, and he's like, "Hey, Rafael, you got time to meet up with me next week? I'm gonna fire my wife's mom, and just
You
wanted
must have been sleeping on the
and
couch.
just wanted to talk to you about it, and yeah, I mean, I was freaking stoked, man. I was like, this is exactly what I've
Yeah.
been working towards, and
Yeah.
I went to that appointment, and I just I pretended like I knew what I was doing, and I think I knew what I was doing at the time, because it's not like I didn't know my shit. You know what I mean? Like I was, I had so much time on my hands that I was obsessing about luxury real estate, so I knew what was going on in the market. I was watching comps, every day. I'd go on the MLS, look at what sold, what went under contract, what's active on the market. I was reading every articles on Cranes, on the Real Deal Real Estate News. So even though I wasn't out in the field, working with sellers and buyers, I knew what was going on
Right.
in the
Right.
in the market. So as much as like I want to say that like I didn't know what I was doing, at the same time I very much knew what I was doing. Like I had the confidence in me to go to that appointment, that listing appointment,
Right.
and really know what's happening in the market, and and at the same time leveraging my team at the time. I was working for a top producer, so I leverage him. Like
As you should.
our team did 80 million last year. Our team is one of the top selling you know teams at the Trump Tower. It's
Was the property in the Trump Towers or?
no, it wasn't at the Trump Tower, but what I'm trying to get at is that I leverage my team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know me going in, I was probably not the strongest uh, agent for the job. Like if you actually looked at my
Your resume
at
and
my numbers at the time and my deals, from that perspective, I wasn't the most experienced
I think you're the
agent.
hungriest at that
I
point in
was,
time.
it was I was I wasn't the most experienced agent, but I mean, I was I just kind of leveraged the team, and and that's why I think sometimes like being a new agent, I mean, it's good to join a team and try to find like a mentor, uh, to be able to like just have someone to lean on and provide advice, and see how some of these top producers run their business. And you'll probably figure it out on your own. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of agents that just go independent from the very beginning, but it's a hard business, so it's important to be able to learn from people that have been doing this for a long time, and are really really good at their job. Not every team's going to be the right fit. I think nowadays there's just a lot of people that also have like this. It's almost like everyone wants to start a team now. Doesn't necessarily mean that everyone's good at being a team leader or running a team. So yeah, it's important early on to like find the right mentor or the right team that's gonna be able to actually provide some value to you, where you're gonna be able to learn and grow, as an individual. And if you decide that you want to leave that team, I mean that's up to you. But if I didn't have the mentors that I had, or even just the people that were around me early on in my career, it's hard to say if I would still be a realtor today, because it's not, again, it's not an easy business. And it to really start seeing you know the success or money that people want to see when they get into this business. I mean, sometimes it can take 2 to 3 years to really like see that success. Um, and it's just yeah. I mean, a lot of people just don't have the patience for it. They think that I'm going to get licensed, I'm going to join this company, and you know they're just going to start handing me leads, or like, oh, here's a $500,000 buy, or here's and it doesn't work that way. So you have to create your own opportunities, or figure out what your niche uh, is going to be. And I think you got to almost start somewhere and not try to be everywhere. And it's easy to want to take every client early on. And don't get me wrong, like there's days where I was doing showings all over downtown, and then here I am driving to Aurora because it's my first buyer client. So I'm not saying turn down those opportunities, but I think it's also important to kind of like early on figure out maybe the market that you want to be in and put all your energy and time uh, to grow your business in that neighborhood or that building, um, and from there start expanding into other neighborhoods or other areas, because I feel like that's the way for you to have long term uh,
Sustainability in the business.
success. If not, you're always going to be chasing after after the lead. So yeah, I mean, maybe start with a suburb that you're really comfortable with, or a neighborhood that you're really comfortable with, and once you start kind of dominating that area, then you move on to the next area and the next area, and then I think that's at least the way that I run my business, because
And I can respect that, bro. I think that
I'm
honestly,
more
from the perspective of me and when I'm looking and overviewing your business overall, I think from the beginning, when I saw who you were, the first thing I saw, obviously, social media. And then I saw the type of clientele that you were able to do business with, right? And I think that, again, a lot of people look up to that, right? I think every single time that you post, and number one, you post a luxurious building like St. Regis, you post the clients that you close on. I think everybody at some point in their career, if you've been in real estate, you're like, oh my God, I would love to do a deal with Derrick Rose. I would love to do, that's the first thing you think of. Like, I would love to service these clients. And, I think what's important about your journey and your story is what I love about it is you manifested it, because you didn't come, like you said, like your mentor, you didn't come from a beginning of everything was handed to you. And I think your mentor is a great story as well, to kind of give everybody an idea that when you start from humble beginnings and you kind of like have a vision on where you see yourself going, that's truly when you can actually manifest and write those things down, but not just but actually work towards those goals, you can obtain it. And I think that from the beginning of your story, I know that you were in banking at one point, then you were in hospitality, like you said, then you kind of got into the real estate game and doing rentals, in a time where people weren't really doing rentals, and you saw a gap and a void in the real estate market, which is social media. And I can appreciate that. You really dove deep into it. You put your head down and you found a niche in a market that you were able to kind of grow and develop into where you're at right now. And I know that when you're in that specific market, I think one of the hardest thing is kind of making sure that you are good in high pressure situations. And again, I think I want to dive a little bit deeper into like the misconceptions, because I know that when you're dealing with, for all the viewers out there that kind of give you insight on his, market, high level individuals, high level clients, he's not really directly talking to these clients face to face every single showing, right? Like, there's layers to it, because these people like they align their time so much that they actually assign other people to go to showings, I'm assuming. So how is it, number one, dealing with these high pressure situations and delivering, because I'm assuming when you're dealing with these clients, you want to impress, right? So how is it delivering in high pressure situations? And then on the other end, for the viewer's point of view, how is it dealing with these high level clients and dealing with their agents, dealing with everybody in the background? Because it's not just like you're shaking up with Derrick Rose, or you're like, showing properties with them. How's that perspective?
I mean, with a lot of the pro athlete clients, I mean, there's a few that I've actually worked with, like face to face, but most of the time, like, I'm either working with a sports agent, a wealth manager, a family attorney, or a family member. A lot of these pro athletes, I mean, they live really busy lifestyles that sometimes they're traded to other teams, and they got to find housing, within a couple days, and that's kind of a way that I've just been able to kind of get my foot in the door and just generate other opportunities within the the sports world. Is I've just done a really good job at just being patient, and also being able to just work fast and just think fast, and really just uh, knowing the product, and understanding what they're looking for, and within like maybe one or two showings, just knowing that something, the next property we're going to look at is not going to work. Let's just take that off the list. No point in like
Even looking at it.
let's not waste anyone's time, because their time is valuable, and sometimes they're very limited on the hours that they have to tour properties, and just kind of having like these really good relationships with other agents, or just people in general, whether it's like a property manager, in a building downtown, just kind of having those good relationships that allows me to again, like, think fast and work fast, where I can just get on the phone, call this agent or call this property manager, and just be like, hey, this is a very, very important client. I know this is very, very short notice, but is there any flexibility in being able to get us in, because we are very limited on time. He's only going to be here till end of day. We've looked at a few properties already, but I truly feel that this is actually a really, really good fit for him. Can you get us in? And most of the time, just because of the relationships that I've built, with other brokers, and not just at my company, but it's when you treat people right, and you're a nice person, people are willing to return the favor. And yeah, I mean, there's been situations where it's like, hey, this property was listed for sale, but I created an opportunity, because I'm like, all right, there's nothing on the market that works for my client. I know he's not ready to buy, but this condo, I know that I toured a couple weeks ago with so and so, and you know she's had it on the market for quite some time. It's been like over like 80, 90 days, and we go and take a look at the property, and we just kind of put in the offer. I'm like, hey, this is my client. He's not looking to buy. This is how much he's willing to pay a month to rent it. If you're, rather than having it sit on the market, this is a second home for your client. My client's willing to pay $25,000 per month. And we'd be open to letting you do showings maybe like once a week when he has away games and he's not in town. So it's again just kind of thinking fast, and just creating opportunities. And that's kind of how my first like deal with a sports player went down. What he was looking for didn't exist. It wasn't out there. It wasn't a matter of like money. It was just there's no inventory for the type of property that he wanted to rent, and where his family was gonna be comfortable. And yeah, so we had to I had to think outside the box, and pretty much created an opportunity from a property that was not on the market for rent. It was on the market for sale.
Oh, wow.
And from there, I built a really good relationship with his sports agent, and I kid you not, like 3 weeks later, he's like, hey, we have this other this other player that just got traded. Can you help him too? And I kind of just in some ways kind of like stumbled into working with professional athletes. But
Awesome.
again, it's not, I don't like to use the word luck, because I more or less believe that I created my own luck by working really, really hard. I created these opportunities for myself. So by providing a good service and thinking outside the box, this sports agent starts sending me other pro athletes, and a lot of them I don't even know who they are, to be quite honest. there's maybe one or two uh, players where I was kind of like, oh wow, like yeah, no, I very much know who Lonzo Ball is.
Yeah.
But
Sure
you know,
could.
I don't follow sports too much. You know, like I'll follow soccer, you know, basketball, but you know, more on the local level. So I'm not necessarily keeping up with the sports world. You know, like most fans, and I think
Yeah.
they appreciate that about me is that I treat them like just any other person, but I also provide a really good service and look out for their best interests. And from the minute that they're arriving at the airport, I have a black car that's picking them up, dropping them off at their hotel, and then picking them up the next day so we can go look at so we can have a full day of showings the next day, and then sending them back, in a black car to an airport. So just providing that extra concierge level of service, but also treating them like just like a regular person, and looking out for their best interests. I usually don't take photos with them. I try to protect their identity as much as possible during a transaction, where I'll make everyone that's in the in the transaction, uh, you know, sign an
I was
NDA
gonna say, do they sign
an
NDAs?
NDA
Holy shit.
agreement. And I mean,
That's pretty
the
cool.
press is really good at finding these stories,
Yeah.
and I mean, unfortunately, sometimes there's just someone that slips up. Whether it's someone that works in the building or a neighbor. Or, I mean, I don't know. Just the media does a really good job at finding these stories, because I mean that's kind of their job. But I do everything possible to avoid those situations, and that's kind of why I've had some success, and have been able to just build and maintain and kind of grow that side of my business. But it's not something that I kind of like early on tried to, the business, like I was early on like, oh, I want to work with athletes or anything. It kind of, it somewhat just happened, and then organically kind of just over time, you know, grew, and then it became a part of my brand. And it's also been just a good way for me to differentiate
100%.
myself. Now when I go into a listing appointment, I mean, sellers always want to know how you're different from the other agent they interview, and some that's just been a good way for
Pretty
me
big
to
distinguisher.
for me to differentiate myself. Well, I'm part of the sports and entertainment division at Compass. We have over 100 elite agents, across the country that specialize in in serving the real estate needs of professional athletes. Every time a player is traded, uh, there's a good chance that I might be working with that player, and that's it's just another layer, I guess, to uh, you know to my brand. Because I mean, I work with a lot of C-level executives, doctors, uh, attorneys, and I also happen to work with pro athletes as well. So it's been really good for my business, um, and I think what has helped me grown that business, and also just attract other clients, even though it's not pro athlete clients, is the way that when I noticed I was kind of like in creating somewhat of a niche
Hmm.
in the SNE world, then I kind of started also like marketing that
Yeah.
in a certain way, and I kind of started becoming known as, oh, the agent that works with pro athletes, and you know agents from different markets or even from our local markets started reaching out to me. Hey, I think I have the perfect house, or if you have any
Yeah.
athletes, and that's when I knew that that my brand was also kind of
No. And outside world.
becoming known, not just from you know on a client base, but started noticing that like other agents in the luxury industry started noticing my success and my brand, and started now reaching out to me to present opportunities to me. So
That's awesome, bro. And I think that one of the main things I love about your story is, number one, it stems from mentorship. You did not shy away from finding an individual that is in the field that you wanted to be in and create, and you followed their path, and you created your own path from it. But you just took the information that they gave you, and then you spin it in your way because you already had the idea of marketing and the things that you want to
hmm
do. So I love that, and
yeah,
you
like
built relationships, bro.
like
I
my
mean,
my my, my mentor, he wasn't doing no social media.
right,
And I mean, even till this day, I don't think he does any social media. I mean, he has a strong book of business, and uh, maybe he doesn't need to do social media, or maybe he just doesn't find, or just doesn't have the desire. It's just not, it's not the way he envisions his business, and there's nothing
wrong with
wrong with
that,
that. That's the
right?
beauty of this business, is there's a million ways to find success in uh, in real estate. And you know as I was learning from him early on, like I was already, like, I knew, like, no, social media is going to
This is the
be
way, right?
is going to it's the way of the future. And I felt very strong about it, that early on I was just very consistent with the social media uh, marketing, even though he wasn't doing that. But I just, it's you at the end of the day, you figure out your own ways to grow your business. I mean, I think having mentors is, you learn from them, but you also pick up things on your own, or you just carve your own path, so to
Right.
say. So
And I love one thing I love about your story, bro, is it kind of progressively grew to the point that you're at. And I think that one of the main important parts of someone getting to where they need to be is understanding their why. And I listen to podcasts every day, bro. That's like one of my main things. I love
mm-hmm.
podcasts, and I heard a quote. It says, "When you know your why, your how will reveal itself."
Mm-hmm.
So when you were growing up and getting into the business, did you know what was the reason why? Like, what drove you to get to the point where you're in? Because I think it's hard to break through any luxury market, because I feel like everybody wants to get in it. So what really drove you to get to the point where you're sitting in the shoes that you're in right now?
I mean, I think what really drove me was, you know, growing up, I was always a kid that just had a lot of crazy ideas, but wasn't always like focus. Um, so real estate really like allowed me to kind of bring all that, you know, having that freedom to grow my business the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I wasn't good at school. I mean, I was,
Yeah.
growing up, I was a troublemaker, somewhat of a class clown. Um, I had a hard time listening to people. I always felt like I knew a better way of doing it, and I think that's why I've enjoyed real estate so much, and I've had success with it, is because while I've been opening to learning from others, and just finding the information online, and reading, I've also not been shy from just doing things the way I think they should be done,
I
and
love
and
that.
really just kind of running with it, and not being scared of what other people are gonna think or say. Um, you know, like the social media. I mean, like I said, it's early on, I understood that that was going to be that's the future of real estate. And then I started doing a lot of video content. And I remember, when I started kind of getting my first couple of $1 million listings, I was doing my property videos very different than anyone in our market. And even till this day, I'm probably the only agent in our market that does lifestyle property videos. We're trying to almost create an emotion or envision the type of buyer that might live in this property, um, by just really trying to sell the entire lifestyle of what luxury living
Right.
living is. And I remember one of like the first videos we did. I mean, I had the drone. I mean, we were up like at like 4 in the morning to get the perfect sunset,
Yeah.
of a female model, like just kind of sitting in the apartment, drinking her coffee, looking out the window. Um, so we put together this kind of like this story of what the ideal buyer for this apartment, how she might actually live in the apartment. And it was a lakefront property, so we did a scene with her like running, like a fitness scene,
So
like
cool. Yeah.
running along the lakefront. And I remember when I first released that video, um, a lot of people thought it was cool, but then I also had a lot of haters, a lot of people that were just, you know, pretty much just kind of like almost just trying to make fun of me.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you selling?
Yeah.
Like this, like, like just they didn't understand marketing. And a lot of people and a lot of agents still don't
They
understand
don't.
marketing. To be honest, they don't have a clue how to market a property. And I think that's why I've had so much success too in the luxury market, is that I treat every property uh, with just very detailed with everything that I do, from the marketing that I put out, and very very picky. Like, if I have to reshoot photos, I'll reshoot photos, even if it's costing me money to do it again. Have fired a lot of videographers and photographers, um, and nothing
Against them.
against them. They're all great people. They just I'm just very picky.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I mean, I remember, like, yeah, I was getting make fun of, and I remember I kind of got down a little bit, and I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing luxury real estate, or blah blah blah. Like, like people are kind of making fun of me because of my videos. And and then a couple weeks, I get a call, and I'm like, and it's this marketing guy for a big developer in Chicago. And he's like, hey, just I saw your video. We got an ad for it on Facebook, and I just wanted to call you. It was great. It was great. We've never seen anything like it. Like, this is amazing. I call, this developer's like, tell me how he called, his team to have like a meeting and show them my
Shit, nice.
my video, and kind of like, this is what I want,
Yeah.
like, this is the type of like marketing I want for my
Yeah.
properties. And yeah, so I mean, that right there, like, it was kind of like an aha moment, like, kind of like, F what everyone's saying,
Yeah,
or
fuck that, man.
saying about me. Just do me. And some people are gonna laugh, some people are gonna think it's really cool, and I'm just gonna do me. And I kid you not, from that video, I started creating opportunities. I started getting my foot in the door, for more luxury homes. And that's kind of, yeah, I mean, again, that's just kind of just going back to like why why I love this business so much, because it's allowed me to just be myself, and just like the freedom to just kind of run my business the way I want to do it, and not have a boss. I mean,
Right.
that's really it. I mean, I'm my own boss. I don't want to say I set my own schedule, because I mean, in real estate, you don't have a schedule. You're on 24/7, and you're working all the time. And I know a lot of people sometimes say like, oh, I want to get into real estate because I want the freedom,
Ain't no
or
freedom, bro.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there, yeah, certain ages that, yeah, do have a little bit more freedom, and I mean, everyone runs their business how they like, and I think that's why, that's kind of the beauty of this business is, the way I run my business is not perfect for other people, might be perfect for you, or everyone, like earlier when we were, before we got into, you know doing this podcast, we're kind of just shooting the shit, and talking about how, yeah, there's certain agents that all their business comes from Zillow. That's not my how I've built my books business, or how I want to run my business. There's nothing wrong with Zillow, and there's just a million ways to make it in this business. Is all about just kind of finding what works for what works for you.
No, yeah, for sure. And one thing I love about what you said that kind of resonated with me, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Patrick Bet-David, but he has a book that's called, and pretty much he's speaking about how enemies are a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
So having people and individuals who say that, like, okay, well, they make fun of your video. And I like to think of that in a positive way, right? Similar to what the book was kind of talking about, is like, think of it as Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
You tell Michael Jordan you suck, guess what he's going to do? He's going to drop 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's similar to you, right? Like when someone tells you your social media sucks, or I don't like the video, like, okay. But it makes your brain turn. And you're like, how can I make my next video even better, so that way it could just shut them up? And that's exactly what you did. You got a developer. You probably got listings from that developer. And those are the things that are going to set yourself apart and breaking through that threshold. I think everybody in their business goes through some sort of growing pains. And it was similar to me. But the difference between me, my videos were actually cringy when I first got into it. You're doing like luxury, people jogging. That's actually pretty cool. But when I first got into it, we were doing TikTok dances. And I honestly, I did it more so because at that point in time, for me, when I first got into the business, it was a joke. Truthfully, we were just kind of joking around with other real estate agents, just kind of playing around with the trends and everything. And then eventually my uncle, who's my mentor, he started making fun of me. He talking shit like, why are you fucking doing TikTok? What the fuck? It's not good for business. Fast forward, right? I think I got my foot in the door of social media, and I saw the value in it. Like, oh, wait, my uncle's not on social media. He has no social media platforms. How is he seeing me? So obviously the social media is doing its job. It's getting to individuals that are watching my videos. So now how can I kind of tap into my network and figure out how I can use social media to where I provide value to people? And that's where it all began, right? Like I started doing informational videos, started kind of doing a little bit more and building my platform based upon more for information. And then it grew a little bit more on being motivating, because, I mean, I saw the trajectory of my business grew the more I posted on social media and the more positive I was. So at the end of the day, I love this podcast because people could see individuals like you and they could become motivated. Like, you didn't have some secret handbook where it was like super impossible to do what you do. You worked hard. You worked super hard to where you're at. You broke through a threshold, and the Latino community should be proud of you, bro. Like, honestly, people should be humbling and look up to you in that light, to see and understand that, just because we're Latino don't mean we could tap into that market, right? And then one thing I love about the luxury market is how hard it is to get in. So when you see individuals that are in that market, you can appreciate them that much more. And when I look at the luxury market, you look at the individual, it's such a small market and it's such a small niche that everybody wants to get into it. But once you're in it, you can actually say those individuals made it through hard work and dedication. And right now you're on pace for, honestly, to get into a market where I think nobody in the Chicagoland market has tapped into. And I follow very heavily that Sirhan TV show. I don't know if you're familiar, if you watched it, but he built his business on social media, right? So if you can tap into it and continue to grow that market, bro, you could take over the luxury market. Like, not you've already done a very good job of it, but you could take over in that sense where maybe it grows to where you're a certain at some point, you
Mm-hmm.
know. Do you have an idea of that? Do you want to grow it to that point, or do you feel comfortable where you're
No,
at
I
and
mean
continue to
I'm
scale?
very much comfortable, kind of just being an independent agent with a small team.
Mm-hmm.
I've been approached in the past, or it's the question that gets thrown around a lot. Do you want to start your own brokerage, or do
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had conversations with some of the people at Sirhan, because they're looking to
Expand over here.
to expand into Chicago, and it's just not something that interests me. I don't want the headache, and the responsibility, uh, of having an accounting team, and a marketing team, and an admin team, and other agents, and being able to make time for other agents, to provide value. And because I mean, if you're gonna start your own brokerage, I mean, you better be able to provide
Yeah. Value.
value
Yeah.
to your agents. So for me, I mean, I'm just really happy where my business is at now. I just want to continue to grow my luxury uh, business. I'm dominating sales in the St. Regis. I have
I
maybe
love that,
around
bro.
25 million in sales in that building alone. Um,
How'd you get into the building?
I was fortunate, to have 3 to 4 cells pre construction that were. One of them was a past renter client of mine. Um, the other was a referral that I received from an agent from our New York office, and the third one, which was actually my biggest sale to date for 6.8 million, was a lead that I created from my personal website. So with those three sales, again, going back to, you got to leverage,
Yeah.
to create more opportunities. I started leveraging those sales, and I started promoting those sales, not just on social media, but to the building. Where little by little, I started picking up a listing here, a listing there. I mean, I have a listing in the building that's going to close this month around, maybe around 3 million. Had another listing in the same building in the beginning of the year that I closed for like 2.3 million.
Awesome.
You know, might have another $3 million listing in the building. Have talked to, you know, to other sellers that are thinking about selling in the building. So in some ways, I've kind of locked down the building where people see me in the building, and they know who I am, and they'll ask me questions, or they'll say hi to me, or even other agents. I mean, actually, I had an agent who texted me the other day, and she's like, "Hey, Rafael, I know you do a lot of business in the St. Regis. I'm actually taking some clients there on Sunday, and I'm a little embarrassed, but like I've never been in the building. Can you kind of give me the inside scoop, so I look good in
Of
front of my
course.
in front
Yeah.
of my clients." And that just goes to show, like it's not even just like potential clients that see me as like the St. Regis guy. Like other agents like reach out to me just to you know to at- you know to ask me for advice for clients that they're that might potentially buy in the building. So now I'm trying to move to another building, and then another. So now that I'm like somewhat dominating the St. Regis, my next goal is to uh, start dominating one Bennett Park. So I just took a listing at one Bennett Park, um, that was on that was previously on the market, with another with another agent, then and I refreshed the entire marketing, from the photos to the video. Did a postcard mailer campaign to affluent zip codes, and started reaching out to agents within my network, and posting on social media like this is coming soon, coming to market. And and I was able to create so many opportunities in just that one week, that I was able to get the property under contract. Um,
Nice.
but I created maybe around 4 to 5 showings in one week. One of them was one of my good uh, client's dad. He got my email blast, and he called me. He's like, "Hey, Rafael, this is so and so interested in seeing your listing at One Bennett Park. We have a family member that lives on the other side of the building, on the rental side, and you know uh, you've been working with my son at the Saint Regis." So I ended up scheduling a showing with him. Um, Schedule a showing with an agent out of my office. So again, just kind of like leveraging my the power of my
Your
network.
network, right?
I was able to get this property under contract in record time. Um, and who knows? Maybe it was luck. Maybe it wasn't. But like I like to say is, I create my own luck. And when I first met with that seller, you know, I told I told the seller, you're gonna get better marketing. That's my one promise to you, is better marketing. And with better marketing, I'm gonna
Sell
create
the building.
I'm gonna create more opportunities to have this condo sold for you in less than 90 days. Um, that's not always the case, but I really want it to be in that building. And the way I looked at it, this is a new opportunity in a building that I really really want to be in. Like, I'm gonna do everything possible to leave a really good impression, not only on the seller, but just do a really good job in marketing. Because from this sale, I want to start creating more opportunities in the building. I want other sellers to call me and be like, "Oh, we saw you sold that unit in less than a week. We're thinking of selling, or we've been trying to sell our unit. Are you willing to meet with us?" And that's just going back to creating opportunities with the opportunities that you already have on hand. The job's not over. Once you get the listing agreement signed, or once the deal closes, it it,
You gotta
it
get it
continues
sold.
it continues and continues, and that's how you continue to just build. Um, and to me, that's just the best way to grow my business, because I'm not you know spending money to chase leads. I'm spending money where I feel it matters, and that's why I feel like I do have the best marketing, some of the best marketing, if not the best marketing in Chicago, because I truly stand by my marketing, and I'm very passionate about my marketing, and that's just organically created new opportunities for me. And with this sale, I mean, I hope that you know I become Mr. One Bennett Park.
Yeah,
So I'll
yeah.
be Mr. St. Regis, Mr. One Bennett Park, and
Continue to expand from there.
and continue expanding into other luxury buildings. Um, you know, I know where I want my business to be. So that's why I put all my energy and focus into those buildings or the downtown uh, neighborhoods. You know, I mean, during COVID, everyone, that was living in the city kind of started fleeing to the suburbs. And
Yeah.
the last couple of years, I mean, it's been rocky. It hasn't been easy uh, selling real estate in downtown Chicago, and it kind of sucks because it's like, oh, in the last 2 to 3 years, my luxury business has really taken off to the point where, like, now I'm an established luxury real estate agent downtown, but I'm also taking on all these listings and, like, in the worst time.
Yeah.
But I just keep telling myself, I just keep working hard and doing everything, in my power to just do good by all of my clients. And I'm sure there's some listings that I'll lose along the way that I might not sell, but for the clients that I'm able to sell their condos, they're going to be so fortunate because they understand that we're in a bad market. And if I can sell their condo in their bad market, that's probably the best marketing that I can get, is telling their family and their friends about me, that Rafael got this sold for me in record time, or he got me a really good price in a bad market, or we had our condo listed with an agent, for over 3, 4, 500 days for even some of these condos that are on the market.
That's
and,
crazy.
and he got it sold for us. And I feel like most sellers appreciate or are going to remember you in a bad market, and in a good market. I mean, sometimes it just comes easy, or because I mean, it's a hot market.
Right,
I
right.
mean,
You have to do much. It's just there's not a lot of inventory and a lot of buyers.
So if
in the
you can
market.
sell in a bad market and grow your business in a bad market, um, when the market shifts, it's like a rocket shift. Like,
For sure.
it takes off. And I think this is can very much, like, apply to the mortgage business as well. Yeah, I mean, during COVID, I'm sure you guys were handing out loans like like it was
Hotcakes,
candy. Now the interest rates are much higher, and that it's just where the economy's at today. It's just you got to work harder.
Right.
You
I think there's a lot of upside.
And
in
if you
Chicago
can get
market,
through a
though.
bad market,
You could get through any market.
you
right?
can get through any market.
I think there's a lot of upside in Chicago market. I think that, when you look at other markets, I think the one thing that's beneficial out of all major cities, I think Chicago is probably the most affordable, obviously. I think that, in your case, in the next couple of years, obviously, I think the Chicago market, the downtown market is gonna uprise. I think there's gonna be a big boom over there. So
Absolutely.
you're
I mean, I'm already seeing
pick it up.
seeing the improvements. I mean, one thing that I've noticed, and that I haven't really seen since before the pandemic, was we lost all our international or out of town buyers, and I'm noticing that I'm seeing an uptick in my business of people that are coming from different states or different countries. I mean, my last 4 to 5 showings at the St. Regis, has been someone from California, someone from Ohio, someone from New York, someone from Dallas, Texas.
Are those from like YouTube or like from? Is it like Compass agents that are referring you coming out of
No,
state?
these are just buyers that are coming through with other agents on my
Okay.
on my listings. But yeah, no, it's been
That's awesome.
it's promising to see that those buyers are starting to come back, because I mean, these are buyers that are not going to be in Chicago full time. This is just like a second home for them. But I think yeah, if we can attract more of that international, and or just like buyers from different states. I think that's a huge positive for the downtown market.
Right. I think it stems from Chicago dumping money back into businesses, getting people downtown back to being live and everything. But I think I want to dive into something for everybody that's watching. For you, who do you attribute your business to? Is it to yourself? You got family or somebody that you really are doing this for, or what does Rafael think on a daily basis?
I mean, I think I'm doing it for myself and to just prove everyone wrong, to prove everyone wrong that has doubted me since I was a kid, and even now, like I said, I mean, you know, I've had I had people that that were laughing at the type of videos that I was doing for my luxury listings, and um, I mean, I do it for my family, for my family too. I mean, first, I was born here, but I come from a first generation immigrant family, and I remember growing up, my dad worked two jobs. At a certain point, when we were growing up, he came here, to this country when he was like 13 years old. Taught himself how to read, write, and
Wow.
taught himself how to speak English on his own, and just kind of seeing like what he went through, uh, you know, motivates me to do better, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
because yeah, I mean, my dad didn't come to this country, at 13 years old with with nothing in his pockets, and was able to build something for me not to build something that's bigger than what he built, and I think that's what we should all want for ourselves, and for future uh, generations to always do it bigger than the previous
I love that.
previous generations. So yeah, that's kind of what keeps me motivated. As much as like the money is great, it's really not all about the money anymore. I think it's more about the just the success, and the numbers, and knowing that I built something from nothing. Um, I didn't go to no like fancy uh, university. Growing up, like I said, I was kind of somewhat of a
Yeah,
troublemaker.
yeah.
So that's what keeps me motivated. It's just knowing that I kind of I was able to figure everything out on my own, and really built this on my own. I mean, of course, I had support of mentors along the way, and people that had a positive impact, that have helped me like shape who I am today, or shape my business. But at the end of it, I mean, I can probably say that I built this myself, and yeah, that's kind of what makes me happy.
For sure. And then the last question I always usually finish this off is just having a good understanding on what you see yourself and envision yourself in the next 5 to 10 years. Do you see yourself continue to grow in a team? Do you see all of St. Regis be your listings? What do you see yourself in the
Hmm.
next 5 to 10 years?
Um, I think I just want to keep it small. Like I said, like I'm a one man show, um, and I like it that way too. Um, because like I said, I'm kind of like I like the freedom of doing things how I think they should be done. Um, I think that the future growth is just gonna be where um, you know I have an assistant, a marketing person that's maybe like full time on my team. So that's how I envision my team growing, is not necessarily you know agents on my team, but more or less like support staff, like having like a full time videographer.
It's pretty cool.
Just the marketing. But yeah, I mean, just really just growing my luxury business, and hopefully, um, I'm doing maybe 60 deals a year, but they're all big luxury deals. And I don't have the desire to be number one, agent in the in the city of Chicago, and do like 300 deals a year. Like, I like to enjoy life, travel, and I think the way for me to do that is just continuing to grow
Steadily.
my luxury business steadily, where maybe I'm not doing 300 deals a year, but I'm doing like 50, 60 deals a year. But those 50 to 60 deals equal the same sales volume as, maybe an agent that's doing about 350 or 400 deals a year. And again, not, that by no means is like a jab to agents that do that. There's just I if I'm making all this, if I'm having this success and making this money, I also want to enjoy it with the people that I love, whether it's my
100%.
family, friends, and having that work life balance. I don't want to be I'm a hard worker. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm always on, um, but I don't want it to get to the point where it like consumes
Right.
my entire life in a way where I no longer enjoy what I'm doing.
For sure, for sure. Well, again, bro, I want to thank you so much for your time today, man. I really do appreciate it. Everybody that's watching, if you did not take at least one tip today, that is a mistake on you, because he gave some great nuggets. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for your time, Rafael. I really do appreciate it. If you have not already, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on post notifications on this video. But if you want to learn more, go ahead, follow your socials on Instagram. Rafael's an amazing guy. But again, appreciate your time, man.